The sun rises slowly above the Giza Plateau. A soft golden light spills across the sand, catching the edges of ancient stone. The Great Pyramid stands tall against the growing light. It is calm, silent, and immensely grand. For more than 4.5 millennia, people from every corner of the world have journeyed here. They have stood in its long shadow, looked up at its weathered face, and asked themselves one profound question: what if the world's greatest mystery, a riddle set in millions of tons of stone, has never truly been solved? What secrets does this magnificent structure still hold? This is not merely a pile of rocks, however impressively stacked. It is a masterpiece of engineering. The sheer size of the Great Pyramid is the first thing that overwhelms the senses. It was constructed from an estimated 2.3 million blocks limestone, granite, with some of the largest stones weighing as much as 80 tons. For over 3,800 years, it reigned as the tallest man-made structure on Earth. That record stood until the Lincoln Cathedral was completed in the 14th century. Its base covers an area of more than 13 acres, large enough to comfortably contain several of Europe's great cathedrals at once. Standing at its foot, one feels utterly dwarfed by its scale, a testament to a vision that was truly monumental. But it is not just the size that astounds, it is the precision. The four sides of its base are incredibly straight and almost perfectly equal in length, with a difference of only a few centimeters between them. More remarkably, the pyramid is oriented to the four cardinal points of the compass with an astonishing degree of accuracy. The north-south axis is aligned to within a tiny fraction of a degree of true north. Achieving such precision without the aid of modern surveying equipment, GPS, lasers, points to a sophisticated understanding of astronomy and a meticulous dedication to planning and execution that is simply breathtaking. The craftsmanship extends to the smallest details of its construction. The outer casing stones, most of which are now gone, were polished to a brilliant white and fitted together so seamlessly that a knife blade could not be inserted between them. Even the core masonry blocks, which are rougher, are laid with a level of care that ensures immense stability. This is not the work of a disorganized mob, but of a highly skilled and coordinated workforce, guided by master builders who possessed a profound knowledge of their craft. One of the most enduring puzzles of the Great Pyramid is the logistics of its construction. How did the ancient Egyptians move and lift millions of multi-ton blocks of stone? A single block from the king's chamber can weigh as much as a dozen elephants. Getting that stone from the quarry to the construction site was one challenge. Hoisting it hundreds of feet into the air to its final position was another entirely. Many theories have been proposed, each attempting to solve this immense engineering problem with the tools and techniques available at the time. The details of this process remain one of the most debated topics in Egyptology. The most widely accepted theories involve the use of ramps. However, the exact configuration of these ramps is a matter of intense discussion. A single, long, straight ramp would have needed to be over a mile long to reach the pyramid summit at a manageable gradient, eventually containing more material than the pyramid itself. Other proposals suggest a series of smaller, zigzagging ramps on one face, or perhaps a spiral ramp that corkscrewed around the exterior as the structure grew. Each design has its own engineering advantages and disadvantages, and no definitive archaeological evidence has yet been found to confirm one over the others. Evidence from ancient art and other archaeological sites offers tantalizing clues. A famous drawing from the tomb of Jehutihotep depicts a colossal statue being moved by 172 men on a sledge, with one person pouring water onto the sand in front of it to reduce friction. Experiments have shown that this technique is remarkably effective, turning a difficult drag into a much smoother slide. It is highly likely that similar methods were used to move the pyramid blocks across the desert plateau. Ropes, levers, wooden rollers would have also played crucial roles in the maneuvering and fine-tuning of each stone's position, yet these simple machines alone may not tell the whole story. The sheer vertical challenge of lifting the heaviest granite blocks to the pyramid's upper chambers remains a profound enigma. Some have suggested complex systems of counterweights or internal ramp systems that would have been filled in as the pyramid was completed. Without a definitive blueprint or construction manual from the builders themselves, we are left to reverse engineer their methods based on the evidence they left behind. The pyramid itself is the primary clue, a silent testament to a system that, whatever it was, worked flawlessly. The monument is a symphony of mathematics, logistics, raw human power. Thinking about the organization required to achieve this is almost as staggering as the structure itself. Quarries had to be managed, sometimes hundreds of miles away for the special granite. Transport systems for these massive blocks had to be devised and operated. A workforce of tens of thousands needed to be housed, fed, and cared for. All of this had to be sustained over a period of perhaps 2 decades. The Great Pyramid is not just a building. It is the final product of an incredibly complex and efficient societal machine, the likes of which the world had never seen before. For centuries, exploration of the Great Pyramid was a physical, often destructive process. Explorers, treasure hunters hammered their way through its passages, leaving their mark on the ancient stone. But in the late 20th century and the early 21st century, a revolution in technology allowed us to see inside the pyramid without moving a single block. This new era of non-invasive archaeology uses cutting-edge physics to peer through the stone, revealing the monument's secrets while respecting its integrity. These methods are like giving the pyramid an MRI, allowing us to map its internal structure with unprecedented detail. One of the most powerful techniques is muon tomography. Muons are subatomic particles created when cosmic rays strike the upper atmosphere. They rain down constantly, and because they're very energetic, they can pass through hundreds of meters of solid rock. By placing highly sensitive detectors inside and around the pyramid, scientists count muons from different directions. If more muons arrive from a certain direction than expected, it suggests they pass through an empty space, a void rather than solid stone. This technology has been deployed by the Scan Pyramids project, an international team of scientists and engineers. Alongside muon detection, they used infrared thermography and three-dimensional laser scanning. Three-dimensional laser scanning creates precise models of the structure. Together, these tools provide a multi-layered view, cross-referencing data to identify hidden anomalies. It is a high-tech treasure hunt where the treasure is knowledge. The results of these scans have been startling. They have confirmed the known internal structures, King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber, Grand Gallery, but they have also revealed several previously unknown anomalies. In 2016, the team announced the discovery of a small corridor-like void behind the north face of the pyramid. Then, in 2017, they announced a much larger discovery, one that sent ripples through the archaeological community and captured the world's imagination. They had found a huge, mysterious space deep within the monument, a space that no one knew existed, the most significant discovery to emerge from the modern scanning projects, a massive enigmatic space, now known as the Scan Pyramids' Big Void, located directly above the magnificent Grand Gallery. It is estimated at least 30 meters long and several meters high, comparable in volume to the Grand Gallery itself. Its discovery in 2017 was a stunning revelation. For over 4,500 years, it had remained hidden, locked away within the solid mass of the pyramid, completely unknown to the countless people who had explored its known passages just meters below. The existence of the Big Void immediately raised a flurry of questions. What is its purpose? Is it a single long chamber, or a series of smaller, connected spaces? Is it horizontal, or inclined at an angle like the Grand Gallery? The initial muon scans provided the location and approximate size, but they could not reveal its internal features or its function. Its discovery was not the end of a mystery, but the beginning of a new, even more profound one. One straightforward explanation from an engineering perspective is that it serves a structural purpose. The Grand Gallery, with its tall corbelled ceiling, is a marvel of architecture, but it also creates immense stress on the stones above it. The Big Void might be a deliberately designed stress-relieving chamber, Similar, smaller relieving chambers are known to exist above the king's chamber. However, other more tantalizing possibilities exist. Could the big void be a hidden chamber, a secret storeroom for the pharaoh's funerary equipment, or even an undiscovered burial chamber? Some researchers have suggested it might be part of an internal ramp system used during construction, left in place after the pyramid was completed. Until we can get a camera or a probe inside the void, its true nature remains a matter of speculation. The Great Pyramid is more than a feat of construction, a manifestation of profound knowledge about mathematics and the cosmos. The builders encoded sophisticated concepts into its very dimensions, suggesting a purpose beyond a simple tomb. Pyramid's height, perimeter of its base, researchers see a link to a circle's radius and its circumference, encoding pi. Some call it coincidence, but the precision is compelling. Its connection to the stars is even more striking. Alignment to true north is just the beginning. Narrow shafts extend from the king's chamber and the queen's chamber, piercing the pyramid's core. For years, they were called ventilation shafts. In the 1960s, Virginia Trimble and Alexander Badawi showed otherwise. The shafts align with specific stars important to Egyptian religion. The southern shaft from the king's chamber pointed to Alnitak in Orion, linked to the god Osiris. That alignment tied to the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Egyptians believed the king's soul would ascend to the heavens to join the imperishable northern stars. The northern shaft pointed to the circumpolar stars, stars that never set. The shafts function as symbolic pathways or launch channels, guiding the king's spirit to the gods. The pyramid was not just a monument on earth, it was an instrument for celestial travel. Some propose it served as an observatory marking key moments in solar and stellar calendars, solstices and equinoxes. Such precision implies a long tradition of astronomical observation. The pyramid becomes a physical embodiment of cosmology, where the pharaoh's earthly realm meets the divine heavens, written in the language of stars and stone. The most widely accepted theory for the Great Pyramid's purpose is that it was a tomb built for the pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE. This theory is supported by a wealth of contextual evidence. The pyramid is the centerpiece of a vast necropolis, a city of the dead. Smaller pyramids for queens, mastaba tombs for nobles, temples for funerary rituals. The internal structure, with its ascending passages leading to a chamber containing a large granite sarcophagus, strongly follows the pattern of a royal burial. Ancient Greek writers, Roman writers, Egyptian tradition, however, the tomb theory is not without its problems. When the Caliph Al-Ma'mun forced his way into the pyramid in 820 CE, he found the king's chamber empty. The massive granite sarcophagus was there, but it was vacant and its lid was broken. No mummy and none of the lavish treasures one would expect from a pharaoh's burial have ever been officially found inside the Great Pyramid. Proponents argue it was thoroughly looted in antiquity, possibly within centuries of its completion. Skeptics, however, question whether the primary purpose of such a colossal undertaking was a burial that was left so strangely unadorned. This absence of definitive proof has opened the door to a host of alternative or fringe theories. One of the more persistent is the idea that the pyramid was a type of power plant. Proponents of this theory point to the use of granite, which is slightly radioactive and has high quartz content, and suggest that the structure was designed to harness and transmit telluric currents or some form of cosmic energy. They interpret the shafts as waveguides and the chambers as resonators. While these ideas are popular in some circles, they are overwhelmingly rejected by mainstream archaeologists and historians who note a complete lack of supporting evidence from ancient texts or artifacts. A more plausible, though still debated idea is that the pyramid's function was primarily symbolic or ritualistic, and not just funerary. It could have been a monument of national unity, a project that brought the people of Upper and Lower Egypt together in a shared purpose. It may have been the site of important coronation or regeneration rituals meant to ensure the king's power and the stability of the cosmos. In this view, the pyramid was a complex instrument of state religion, a place where the divine power of the pharaoh was solidified. The true purpose may not be a single answer, but a combination of these roles: a tomb, a temple, and a symbol of cosmic order. In the vacuum of certainty surrounding the pyramid, many myths and speculative theories have flourished. Perhaps the most famous is the idea that the pyramids were built by an extraterrestrial civilization. Proponents of this theory argue that ancient humans lacked the technology and knowledge to create such precise and massive structures. They point to the pyramids as evidence of alien visitation, suggesting that advanced beings gifted this knowledge to humanity. While this idea has captured the public imagination through books, television shows, it is a theory that has no basis in the archaeological record. The scientific and archaeological community gently but firmly debunks these claims by pointing to the overwhelming evidence of human ingenuity. Excavations around the Giza Plateau have uncovered the remains of a vast workers' village, complete with bakeries, breweries, medical facilities. Archaeologists have found the tools used by the builders: copper chisels, stone hammers, wooden sledges. They have discovered graffiti left by the work gangs inside the pyramid's relieving chambers, with names like the Drunkards of Menkaure. This is not evidence of aliens. It is the very human story of a massive, well-organized and highly skilled workforce. Debunking these myths is important because it recenters the conversation on the incredible achievements of the ancient Egyptians themselves. Attributing the pyramids to aliens, a lost super-civilization, inadvertently robs the actual builders of their legacy. The evidence shows that they were brilliant engineers, project managers, astronomers. They developed their techniques over generations, building smaller, less complex pyramids before attempting the great leap forward at Giza. The scientific method provides a rigorous framework for testing claims. It demands evidence that is observable, testable, repeatable. Speculation is a vital part of forming hypotheses, but those hypotheses must then be subjected to scrutiny. So far, every piece of verifiable evidence, from the tool marks on the stones to the skeletons in the workers' cemetery, points to a human origin. The real wonder of the pyramid is not that it was built by gods, aliens, but that it was built by people like us, using their minds, their muscles, their collective will to create something that would endure for eternity. In the final analysis, the Great Pyramid of Giza stands as one of humanity's most profound achievements. It is a fusion of art, engineering, faith, conceived and executed on a scale that continues to humble us. It represents a pivot point in human history, a moment when ambition and capability aligned to create something truly everlasting. The ongoing research into its structure and purpose is a story of human curiosity itself, a demonstration of our relentless drive to understand our past using the ever-advancing tools of the present. The pyramid is as much a mirror for our own ingenuity as it is a window into a lost world. The future of pyramid exploration is brighter than ever. The continued refinement of muon tomography will provide clearer and more detailed images of the Big Void and other potential anomalies. Miniature, snake-like robots may soon be able to navigate the narrow shafts, sending back the first ever images from spaces that have been sealed for 4,500 years. Artificial intelligence will help analyze the vast data sets from scans and sift through satellite imagery to identify new areas for excavation. Each new discovery, no matter how small, adds another piece to this immense and complex puzzle. Yet for all our technology, the pyramid holds its deepest secrets close. The Big Void remains an unblinking eye at the heart of the structure, its purpose a complete unknown. We still do not know for certain every detail of the construction methods, nor the full meaning of its complex internal design. The pyramid teaches us a lesson in humility, reminding us that even with all our modern knowledge, the past can still hold mysteries that elude us. It is a challenge that invites us to keep asking questions, keep searching, never assume we have the final answer. So, imagine yourself standing there, at the foot of this stone mountain, as the last light of day paints its faces in hues of orange and purple. Imagine the centuries of human history that have unfolded in its shadow. Think of the silent, dark spaces sealed within its core, spaces that may have been untouched since the day the last stone was laid. The voices of its builders are long gone, but their legacy, this colossal question mark written upon the desert, remains. After all this time, all this study, and all this wonder, what do you think is still waiting to be discovered? After more than 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid still guards secrets beneath its stones. What do you think is still waiting to be discovered?